WoW has been around for decades. 2 in fact. It is undisputedly a household name, and whenever anyone thinks of an MMORPG, they think of WoW, not softcore fan service. With millions of fans constantly coming in and out of different seasons, retail, classic, sod, evolved, and whatever else they can think of. WoW is an endless stream of subscription content. But it's not just that. It's a means to express yourself as a person, whether you like collecting things, being the best, or even having a hobby. But the reason I'm making this video isn't to sell you on WoW. It's to tell you that WoW is pointless to play and unfulfilling. You're basically a dog chasing cars permanently. And I'm quitting indefinitely. I highly recommend that if a game makes you hate yourself for extended periods of time, or if a fun experience turns into an agonizing one that you want to escape from, I have something to say. Do yourself a favor and just quit completely. I'm not saying WoW itself is trash, because it can be fun.
He's freaking out! Oh!
The overall negativity stems primarily from its own elitist culture, and how that will never change. Let me explain. When I first was introduced to WoW, I was a kid watching my older brother play vanilla. Fast forward to college, I hardly had anyone to talk to in my day-to-day life. There just wasn't time for it. During long semesters where I spent studying or wasting away playing Dota, I genuinely didn't socialize very much in college. There was something missing in my life. I didn't fit anywhere. Eventually, some of my IRL friends began playing WoW as soon as Classic was released. They convinced me, and at first I hated it, but for once in my life, I eventually fit in. Sort of, anyway. Going from guild to guild, drama to drama, eventually I found my place. But I got stale, and by the time Wrath of the Lich King Classic was over, I wanted to stop for good, but I still had that competitive itch. The reason why retail was the next logical step was simple. It's a better game. The class identity was spectacular. Every class I played felt unique and difficult to master, and I loved learning every aspect of most classes. A lot of classes have many things to do and are useful in some capacity. The animations were satisfying, and playing a DPS felt powerful. Being a tank, however, The content was also a significant part of retail WoW. Mythic Plus and Mythic Rating are the only way to challenge yourself into being a better player. And boy, there was a lot of content to tackle whenever you're new to it. You have potentially hundreds, if not thousands of hours worth of stuff to learn and master. Loot was also a great part, as you well know. Awesome items like Rage Heart, Varrock's Axe, and class tier sets were significant and interesting in some capacity. Cosmetics were also a big part of gameplay because you just had to look cool doing stuff. There were thousands of things to collect, especially mounts. I can go on and on about retail, but here's the rub. It's not fulfilling. I actually made 0 friends playing retail for a year. The Mythic Guild I was in wasn't exactly a healthy environment, and in fact, it didn't promote much loyalty at all. The problem with retail stems from the overarching community behind it. I'm not saying everyone is toxic or awful. It's just not a good environment to make friends based on the hyper-competitiveness of the community. Retail just isn't a home. I think Blizzard is mainly to blame for this because of how demanding the content is. Difficult content is way too stressful for a group of 20 plus people, and everyone hates failure.
You don't need to be fast, you just need to be careful.
Get seeds after.
Kill boss. 2%.
Please! Please die! Please!
Good shit, guys.
Don't say good shit, there's seeds! Oh, there's seeds! Oh, the fucking
Kill the boss!
seeds! What are you saying?
We should have done seed.
We should have done seeds.
Alright,
calm down.
Fuck, man.
Calm down. We don't know what the strat there was. That was the first time seeing that.
Sure, you can play casually, do raids and raid finder difficulty, and do mythic zeros for your whole lifetime in the game. But is that enough for most people? The reality is, it's a stressful environment that doesn't respect your time. Your parse grays? You suck. Your IO too low? Nobody wants to play with you. Retail is just a game of time. You have to invest hundreds of hours in order to properly min-max every aspect of your experience. I guess every iteration of WoW is basically the same. Weeklies, dailies, rep farming, consumables, parse building, and gaining IO is exhausting. If you're not even accomplishing to be the best, you're basically a nobody. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is when you look for guilds, unless you scrape the bottom of the barrel with a filler guild who claim to be sociable, but end up talking once a week to hand out a Discord invite. I think the most miserable I've been was accomplishing my Mythic Plus title for Season 3 of Dragonflight. You know, the dreaming one? I say this from experience, but finding people who give a shit about you is almost impossible. Every week I struggled because my class was non-meta, and this goes back to how retail is poorly designed. You didn't play meta? You can't climb. You don't have friends who support you? Good luck with anything. And what infuriates me the most is how Shaman is meta now in the War Within, and the same people who ridiculed me are playing it now because it's useful. Not that it wasn't before. But that demonstrates how the retail WoW community is elitist and hypocritical at the same time. It takes away from other people who have exceptional talent and an identity. It's flavor of the month to the extreme, and it's frustrating to see intolerant values be peddled every expansion. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's just a WoW thing in general, and I don't want any part of that. There are always outliers of non-meta class players that are exceptional, but no one cares. If you're not playing something good, then you might as well just delete your character. Regardless, I acquired the title, thanks to a bit of luck and some help despite being a shaman at the time, but it opened my eyes to how awful the retail community is in general, and no one wants to say it. People want to strive for something, and I get that, but to treat people like they're nothing is awful and downright despicable. Constantly being gatekept and knowing the fact that no one wants to play with you if it doesn't enable them to win is horrible. You can't tell me this design is fun. I know it sounds like I'm reacting towards the community and not the game, but it's both. Blizzard facilitates this behavior by designing the game this way. It's an example of how meaningless it is to be the best in something like WoW because it ultimately means nothing. It's the equivalent of your mom giving you a trophy for being born. Congratulations on an award no one cares about. You'll go through dozens of guilds that don't really care about you only to be deemed unfit for anything remotely competitive. Parse lords, elitists, and sycophants really sullied my WoW experience, but it helped me learn something. I'll be honest and say it, retail WoW is the most toxic relationship I've ever had, and the only cure is finding reliable friends who want to struggle with you. Unfortunately, I don't have that. Maybe the moral of the story is to find some friends, you big whiny loser, or just play a game that respects your time and enables you to enjoy having fun without hating yourself every day. Maybe I should blame my retail guild for fostering bad behavior, or I should just blame myself for expecting more of a fulfilling experience that isn't downright hateful. All I know is that retail is a waste of time, and if you think the game hates you, it's because it does. For me, at least. I think when you eventually realize that retail isn't all butterflies and rainbows, but is an experience hyper-focused on hardcore gaming and min-maxing, you might understand where I'm coming from. But that's my experience. At the end of the day, I can't judge what people want to play. I genuinely believe that I could give WoW a second chance, but the same thing happens every expansion. I'd rather just eat glass. I'm just an idiot who wants to enjoy having fun, and the more the merrier. I unironically don't want people to give up on the things they love. The War Within looks solid and people don't want to miss out on the new stuff, just like every other expansion. It's like an ex-girlfriend that keeps coming back promising you bigger and better things. Maybe she's right, but we've all been there and done that. Does it really mean anything if you're not truly enjoying yourself? Look, if you like retail WoW, keep playing. If it's a fun waste of time to keep you happy from your 9 to 5, you do you, baby. I'm just frustrated with the system, and I was frustrated with myself, people, and even friends. So I quit. I got to play games, make more videos for you guys, and finally retire from an otherwise exhausting experience that demands way too much from me. And I'm happy with that because I get to make other people happy. WoW is a game that time and time again I found myself coming back to in the past, because it's basically a second life, a way to interact with friends and people you otherwise wouldn't have met without the use of an online environment. That's why I think I prefer Classic over Retail, because it's not about the game anymore, it's about the people. Without lasting relationships and meaningful friendships, I am truly nothing, and I feel nothing. A lifelong friend is worth thousands of hours of playing WoW for. I think if I were to start over, I'd do it all again. I'd play WoW, get pissed off at the same things Blizzard keeps shoving down my throat hoping I don't gag, pause, and enjoy all the moments I had with friends. WoW is an experience that I simply cannot put into words. It created communities, friendships, and whole worlds that to this day people still talk about. I used to be the kind of guy who scoffed at the idea of playing an MMORPG and wondered why people got into drama over a video game and some pixels. But knowing what I know now, it's more than that. It's a world bereft of real-world stuff, minus microtransactions.
Oh, brother!
It's a place that's truly magical and allows you to live out the fantasy of being a hero. WoW is where you can be who you want to be. You can go out on an adventure and make some lasting memories without taking a flight to Hawaii. You just need to pay 15 bucks. So if you listen to everything I had to say, I leave you with this word burger.
A word burger, please.
The purpose of our lives is to be happy. That's something the Dalai Lama said. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Keep striving to be better every day and don't take games too seriously. And as always, see you around.